Hi there! So once a month I like to give an update on my portfolio to both inspire you and show you I have real skin in the game. I will include all the good stuff such as portfolio growth, dividend totals, and I will include some juicy insights into my portfolio as well. Hi, I'm Tom from the Dividend Attitude Show. Even though these portfolio updates are usually not the most watched videos on my channel, I still love making them. Because I truly like the show inspire people to grow or even start their own portfolio as well. My dividend portfolio is definitely not one of the largest out there and I can only invest about $130 to $150 per month. But this goes to show that through dedication everyone can build up a portfolio. Remember, even the biggest portfolios out there had to start from scratch at some point. Honestly, when I first started this YouTube channel at the beginning of 2020, one of my fears was that nobody would watch it. Because what could people learn from me with a small portfolio and at the time about 3 years of experience investing in dividend stocks? I'm glad to see that right now my channel gets more than 2,000 views per month and more than 650 of you have liked my content so much that you decided to subscribe. Finally I can show you, although I've mentioned it a few times already, but I now own 13 shares of STOR Capital. For I think the first time since my first video I will tell a little interesting personal fact about each stock. 3M, this year they were finally in undervalued territory after being overvalued for quite a while, so I took the opportunity to buy 6 shares earlier this year. I'm now up 21% on them. BancFirst Corporation, another stock I bought this year. This regional bank chain from Oklahoma was hit quite hard in March. I bought 13 shares and was up 48.5% in 2020. Cisco, this was one of the first stocks I bought when I started out in 2017. I bought 18 shares at an average cost of a bit over $33. I did not buy more this year though when they were down. CVS, also one of the stocks I bought in 2017 and this was right before they froze their dividends. Ouch! I bought 30 shares and will continue to hold them as I believe in the long-term future of the company. I'm tempted to buy more but I will diversify my portfolio into more positions first. General Dynamics, yet another stock I purchased this year. This defense company was also undervalued when I bought them and I bought them in 2 increments. Thanks to finally having access to commission-free trading as an EU member. I own 4.4 shares for an average cost of about $140. I was up about 4.5% in 2020. Johnson & Johnson, this is another stock I bought at the very beginning in 2017. Which I think is a part of many dividend portfolios, as they are such a stable dividend grower, consistently growing at 6%. You need these stocks in your portfolio to offset the risks in other stocks. Northwestern Corporation. This utility is another one of those boring companies which I bought in the beginning in 2017. I'm down about 4% on this company, but nonetheless it serves its purpose. Continue to pay and raise dividends. Omega Healthcare Investors. Honestly, this was and is one of the greater risks that I took as a dividend growth investor. I own 66 shares of Omega for an average cost of $27 and a yield on cost of almost 10%. This is a company that should benefit from the aging population as a REIT, leasing out skilled nursing and assisted living facilities for long-term healthcare. They have had and still have some bigger tenants with financial difficulties though, so this makes it a riskier bet. And then Qualcomm. I had to be so patient on this one. As I've mentioned a few times before, I was break even or in the red for a good 2.5 to 3 years. At the time they had a lot of litigation going on with Apple, which hurt them bad. In the meantime I was still receiving dividends for waiting though. I owned 6 shares and was up 160% at the end of 2020, the biggest all-time gainer of my portfolio. And then STOR Capital. Like I just mentioned, this is my latest addition. I believe in their business model and their CEO, so I'm hopeful this stock will do well. Otherwise I wouldn't have bought it obviously. I've covered this stock quite extensively, of which I will put links in the description. And then Tensure Factory Outlets, or SKT. After OHI, this was definitely one of the riskier bets I made. As most of you probably know, at this time they have cut their dividend due to the current health crisis. I bought them for their solid financials and quality management team. I think they would have not cut their dividend if it were not for the health crisis, because they even raised their dividends in May of this year before they had to cut it. I'm still down 33% on them and I'm still hopeful this one will turn around once most of their tenants will be able to pay the contractual rent again. T. Rowe Price. I absolutely love T. Rowe Price. I know you are not supposed to get emotionally attached to your stocks, but this is definitely one of my favorites. Since I own them, they have raised their dividends with almost 23%, 9% and 18% last year. Talk about some dividend growth. When I bought them, they had a yield of 3% and my yield on cost is already up to 5.1%. They have also doubled in share price and I was up 110% at the end of 2020. This is a dividend growth stock at its finest. They normally announce their dividend increase in February, so I can't wait for that one. VF Corp. I also bought this one early on in 2017. VF Corp spun off some of its business for which I received cash, since I didn't have enough shares to own part of their spun off business. Nonetheless, this is another nugget for me. Their dividend increase was quite small this year since they are severely affected by the lockdowns as a retailer, so I take any dividend increase in those circumstances. And then, Williams-Sonoma. Oh boy. Just like Qualcomm, I bought this company in 2017 and it did not move much at all for the first few years. But then it took off like a rocket. At the end of 2020 they were up more than 90% in my portfolio. This is another one of those great dividend stocks that raised their dividends with 10% in October. This was later than their normal raise schedule, but I will definitely take it. Stay tuned, because at the end of the video I will reveal the full year performance for the whole portfolio. If you liked the video so far, don't forget to crush that like button and make it turn blue. If you enjoy videos like this, consider subscribing, because I do portfolio updates every month. And now we get to the dividends, so more juicy stuff to come. First off, December. In December I received dividends from these lovely companies. J&J paid me 2.58 for my 3 shares. 3M paid me 7.50 for my shares. Like I said, very happy about adding 3M in 2020 at a 4+% yield. Northwestern paid me 3.57, which is a 4% increase compared to last year. Nothing big, but again, I will gladly take it. T. Rowe paid me 4.59, like I said, an 18% increase year over year. Whoa. Qualcomm gave me 3.31, which again is an increase of a bit under 5% year over year. I think bigger increases might be coming for Qualcomm though. VFC paid me 2.50, again an increase year over year. You gotta love dividend growth investing. All of that means that the dividends received in December are a whopping 56% higher than 2019, as you can see here in the year over year progress as well. The total dividends for 2020 amount to $364, an almost 24% increase since 2019. And as you can see in the total graph, the dividends received keep increasing very nicely every year. My goal at the beginning of the year was to receive at least $500 in annual income, but due to Tensure factory outlets cutting their dividend, I did not quite meet that goal. Now some fun facts to look at my dividends in another way. But first, if you are from the EU and want to get a free share worth up to £100, dollar or euro, then be sure to check out the Trading 212 referral link in the description. I know. Another guy promoting his referral link, but it would really help to support the channel and you get something in return as well. Win-win, I would say. Back to the fun facts. How much dividends did I receive per month, day or hour on average? My progress towards my end goal to 30k annually? And how much gifted working time I was given by dividends? My forward annual income is now $448, up another $11 since November. At the beginning of this year, my annual forward income was $350, so that is a nice increase of $100 in a year. I say keep that snowball rolling forward. On average, I now receive $37 per month, $1.24 per day and a whopping $0.05 per hour. As my end goal is $30,000 in annual dividend income, I am now 1.49% of the way there, with $448 annual income. Though that may not seem like much, it is all about the progress. For example, in August this was at 1.36%, so at this pace I will get there in like 189 years. I don't think I will live that long. Thankfully, there is a little magic trick called compounding that will help me get there faster by reinvesting my dividends. I also plan to keep increasing my contributions, so hopefully it will be a little bit faster than those 189 years. If you want to know exactly how I plan to do that, I suggest you also watch episode 42, which is now suggested in the top right corner. Now, as my goal is passive income, I also like to see how much hours I would not have to spend working with my current dividends. For this, I use the borrowed term gifted working time. With $365 in post-tax dividends, I've bought myself 9.1 hours of gifted working time in 2020. Since it is the beginning of the year, I guess I should say something about my plans for the year as well. Like I mentioned before in previous portfolio updates, my plan is to further diversify my portfolio in sectors that I'm lacking, such as energy, materials and telecom. I also plan to add some faster dividend growth stocks to get my overall dividend growth up a bit. This will of course be at the expense of current yield. The problem with those kinds of stocks is that it's often very difficult to buy them at a discount, and I like my dividend stocks discounted. In terms of future goals, I'm going to aim for 100 average monthly dividends. It will probably be a bit of a long shot, but if you don't shoot for the stars, you won't get anywhere, right? And then the moment you hopefully have been waiting for. How much did my portfolio progress in 2020? For that, I will use the very first video I made on this channel at the beginning of 2020. At that time, my cost was $9,694, which has now increased to $10,303. So the cost has increased by over 47%. That is a mix of reinvested dividends and fresh capital. And then my portfolio gains. At the beginning of the year, the value of my portfolio was at $8,978, and my gains were just shy of $2,000 or 28%. At the end of 2020, the value of my portfolio was $12,635, so an increase of 40%. So I became part of the 10K club in 2020. I also started to track my gains with dividends included later in 2020. My total lifetime gains without dividends are 22.6%, and with dividends received that is 32%. So almost 10% of my gains came from dividends. How awesome is that? If you are curious about my previous portfolio updates to follow my progress throughout 2020, be sure to check out my portfolio update playlist, which you can click on here in the bottom right corner. Also, consider subscribing if you want to stay updated on future content. Until next time, bye bye!